Yo, the Ninja X Show. Today's topic, MGTOW are the male version of feminazis. Like I've said in a previous video, there is a difference between feminists and feminazis. You can check the link to the video in the description below. With that said, let's talk about MGTOW. I find many things wrong with them, and I'll start by saying this. First off, they are extremely hateful towards women. You can tell when they use sexist slurs. Secondly, they have no respect for men who date single mothers. They call those men cucks if they do. So even if you're 21 dating a 45-year-old woman who has a daughter as old as you are, they'll still call you a cuck. Even though she has never cheated on you and neither of you are married, just goes to show that they don't know what cuck means. So yes, they're against young men dating cougars. They want these women to be miserable and alone. So even if she left him because of how abusive and unfaithful he was to her, MGTOW will still prefer that woman to suffer than for her to be happy with someone else. MGTOW are a very immature group who have a lot of growing up to do. They want to bash feminazis and yet they act like feminazis themselves, which is very hypocritical of them. They pretend they are fighting for a good cause, but the truth is that they have a vendetta against women simply because they got rejected or they got exposed on social media for asking these women for nude pics or sex. That is what it's truly about. And sure, they can point out that women can be just as bad as men, and I agree with that. But just because some of them lie and cheat doesn't mean all women are like that. So this war on women is nonsense. This obsessive hatred of women is nonsense. There is no excuse to hate women. But what do I know? Well, believe it or not, many of my relationships ended on good terms. Many women I've had relationships with were the nicest ones I know. But maybe the reason I've had relationships with nice women is because of how attractive I am underneath this mask. While someone who is a part of MGTOW are rejected because of how ugly he is, or maybe he doesn't have a job and still lives with his parents. Hence why a guy like that would get rejected. But then again, I know an autistic guy who lives with his family and he has a hot girlfriend. So maybe it's not so much the looks as it is your attitude and how you carry yourself. He's the most honest guy I know because he doesn't care that people know he's autistic. He doesn't care if people know he lives with his family, which is what makes him so likable. Perhaps MGTOW can learn a thing or two from him. That's all I have to say. Tune in next time for more truth, logic, and common sense.